Welcome to Complexity Made Simple. My name is Paul Allen, and the subject of today's newsletter is the three wise men of lean: Muda, Mura and Muri. Let's just pop this up here as a heading. It's the three wise men. Now, most people, when they're doing lean implementation, most people have heard of Muda. So let's just pop that one up there. So everybody understands this one usually. Muda in Japanese, in English, it's the 7 wastes. Everyone's very comfortable with that, and everyone's chasing the 7 wastes away. However, people misunderstand. If you don't do the other 2 in that list, this doesn't work properly. Mura and Muri. Let's put those up there. So let's have a look. Mura, what is this thing? Well, it's unevenness. Unevenness. Muri. What's this? It's overburden. Overburden, or asking someone to do a work content that's unreasonable. So it's about asking unreasonable things of your machines and your people and your factory, etc. And typically, everyone chases the 7 wastes away. So let's just put the 7 wastes up there. Everyone's chasing these things. Don't forget, by the way, these are about your product. They are about the material flowing through your factory. Don't try and apply these to people. They do not apply to people. Okay, so let's have a look over processing, overproduction. Not waiting. Inventory. Too much of the stuff. Transport. Transport and motion. Now everyone's chasing these 7 wastes and they all think that they understand it. However, lots of people apply this to their people. Lean is not about efficiency. It's about flow, and therefore it's about making huge amounts of money. Use these 7 wastes to measure how fast an order flows, how fast your material moves, what's happening to your material. Then you'll get the most out of lean. However, if you really want the 7 wastes to go away, you've got to deal with these 2, and you've got to deal with these 2 first. You won't make these go if you have unevenness or overburden. Now, if you want a great book to see this in action, The Gold Mine is a fantastic book to look at, because the gold mine in it, it's a storybook. It's about a lean transformation, and in it, the first thing that the guru does when he goes into the factory, what's the first thing he looks at? First thing he actually looks at is overburden. He makes it go away. Then he sorts out the unevenness. And then once he's dealt with these 2, then he starts dealing with this. But only after he's dealt with these 2. So let's talk about unevenness or overburden. So this is the gold mine, by the way. This is Frederick Balle, B-A-L-L-E, if you want to go and find it. It is a great book to show you how to do proper lean implementation. So let's look at these 2. Unevenness. Typically, what are we talking about? Unevenness, this is often about demand. The demand is doing this. One of the first things you have to do is flatten that demand out. Because of course, if you look at this, how do you deal with these peaks? Imagine that flowing through your factory. I mean, imagine what flow's got to look like. Yeah, you've got no flow at all, then you need to suddenly make 20-30% more. Where'd you get that capacity from? Well, often, of course, what you do is you put on overtime, try and produce more per shift, Maybe you take maintenance routines out of your equipment because you don't have time to do that anymore. You've got to put more pressure on the equipment. What are you doing? Because you've got this, you tend to do this. Yeah, so you will definitely put more pressure on your equipment and your people, and you'll create overburden. Overburden in the book, by the way, in the gold mine, what is overburden in the book? It's basically parts that don't fit correctly. It's not that they can't get them to fit, but they can't just put them together as the process was originally planned. So what they're doing is they've got little special tools, they're doing a little bit of extra work, maybe a little bit of rework, bending things, etc. And of course what that's doing, it's putting extra pressure on the operator. The operator's getting the job done, but maybe they're only producing 80% of the target, things like that. Maybe they're having to work hard, stress their arms and things, because they're doing things that weren't designed into the process. You're creating overburden. And in the book, this is the first thing that he gets rid of. And then he flattens the demand. He makes the demand completely even through the manufacturing process. It's one of the most simple things you can ever do. And all he basically does is he calculates the average demand for each product. And then he puts that into a plan. And he says, let's do the average every single day. Now, sometimes you can't do it daily. Yeah, but what you should try and do, initially, you should try and do it monthly. So you make exactly the same quantity every month. If you can break that down into smaller batches, you should then try and do the same quantity weekly. And finally, if you can do it, the same quantity daily, so that every day is identical. Now in the book he does this in a few simple pages. I've marked some pages here just to show you. Look, what does he do? Well, there, he calculates average demand. Let's have a look. The STR product at the top there, weekly demand, it says 100. Then next to it, it says daily demand, it says 20. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to make 20 of those every day. Now a little bit later in the book, once he's come up with that standard plan, here's the Kanban design. Look how even the Kanban is. Look at the way these Kanbans appear at the same time interval across, this is across a day, by the way, so this is minutes across a day. But literally, there is the same demand on the production system, even every single day. He's removed overburden, now he's removed unevenness. Now just think how easy this becomes to plan. Every day's the same. You've got the same people in the same place. You've got the same material in the same quantities, in the same place. Imagine how well the parts feeding department can optimize their process. They know exactly how much to deliver. It's exactly the right place. It's exactly the right time. There is no change every single day. Now I know what people say to me. Yeah, but we have orders that appear and we can't plan them. We don't know that they're coming. That's fine. You will get that. But what you want to achieve, you want to achieve something like this, an even plan for 4 out of your 5 days. The craziness, the randomness will only be for 20% of what you make. What you have to do is isolate the repetitiveness, take the unevenness out of 4 days and make them completely repetitive. And I mean completely repetitive. No variability, no changes, just same orders every day, same way. 4 days completely repetitive. Day 5, well, in day 5, that's where you can stick the chaos if you want. So day 5 is the random orders, random quantities, things that you don't know what's coming, things that get ordered in very low volumes that you can never predict. And then what you got is 4 days, just work like clockwork. And the chaos is isolated into day 5. What most people do, they allow this to sit in these days. It infects the way you work completely. This chaos infects all the repetition that's really there. You can't see any repetition. And now every day you make it up as you go along. What you need to do is deal with unevenness, get repetition. Then you can have the right people in the right place, the right machines in the right place, maintenance routines always happening as planned every time. And of course, if you do that, the machines work brilliantly. You don't have to have processes checking and rework that shouldn't be there. You're not overproducing to deal with these peaks and troughs. You've got the right amount of inventory because the place is flowing. You don't have waiting. The transport can be at a minimum and completely planned. So you can plan the flow of material and the motion completely, and you can eliminate the 7 wastes because everything is repetitive. This is crucial to lean. You have to deal with Mura and Muri first, and then the 7 wastes can be destroyed and you can make pots of money. Because lean, when you get it right and you make the orders flow as fast as possible, is about making pots of money. The 3 wise men of lean. If you'd like to know more about any of the concepts covered in this video, or any of the other concepts covered in my other tutorial videos, then here's my latest book, Drink Tea and Read the Paper. Covers everything you need to know about how to make sure that Six Sigma becomes world-class engineering in your company. Otherwise, if you'd like to get in touch with me, a little bit of help about lean, a little bit of help with Six Sigma, please contact me on the email below.